If this appeared before you, it's not coincidence, it's convergence. The quantum field is moving now, in a rare harmonic that only happens once before the cycle resets. You were guided here not to learn something new, but to remember what's been whispering beneath your awareness all along. This message isn't reaching everyone, only those whose frequency has become receptive to what the field is revealing. Before November ends, something will align so precisely that your entire reality may flicker, and if you're awake enough to notice, you'll realize it's already begun. The quantum field never shouts. It moves in silence, through symbols that the mind mistakes for chance. You've felt them lately, numbers repeating, words echoing from different mouths, dreams looping back with eerie precision. They're not coincidences, they're coordinates. Each one is a subtle pulse, a signature from the field saying, "You're in sync." The more you notice, the more it speaks, because attention is permission. When you begin to listen without dismissing, the field begins to reveal without restraint. It doesn't communicate in sentences or logic. It translates energy into patterns. The way a song lyric lands at the exact moment you need it. The way a stranger says something that feels meant only for you. The way an object you thought you lost appears just when you remember it. These are not random, they are mirrors. The field is fluent in reflection. Every repeated image, every déjà vu, every improbable alignment is the field's way of pulling your awareness toward a convergence point. A moment it wants you to recognize before it arrives. You see, the universe doesn't waste symbols on the uninterested. If you are perceiving these synchronicities, it means your perception has reached the threshold of readiness. You are tuned just enough to detect what others overlook. The field is calibrating with you. It's preparing you to witness a pattern so exact, so personal, that only you will understand its language. Before November ends, this dialogue between you and the unseen will crescendo into something unmistakable, a moment that feels staged by a force that knows your soul intimately. But the paradox is this: the more you try to decode it with logic, the quieter it becomes. Because logic filters the magic into categories it can control, the field doesn't respond to control, it responds to curiosity. So when a pattern repeats, don't rush to label it as a sign of this or that. Instead, pause, breathe, feel the energy behind it. Ask silently, "What are you showing me now?" And then let the answer unfold in sensation, not in words. Sometimes it will come as a chill down your spine, or a sudden wave of calm. Sometimes it will show through a memory you haven't visited in years. The field speaks in sensations because energy precedes interpretation. And that's the secret. You're not just noticing the field, you're co-creating its language. The moment you become aware of a sign, your awareness feeds it, shapes it, amplifies it. You're not being shown a message that existed before you, you're collapsing it into existence by observing it. That's how the field communicates. Through the dance between signal and witness, cause and recognition. It shows you what you are ready to see, because your readiness creates the revelation. So when these patterns find you, and they will, in ways that seem impossible to deny, don't chase them, harmonize with them. Let them unfold like music, knowing each note carries a frequency tailored precisely for your vibration. The field is mapping your consciousness onto form, giving you previews of your next reality through symbols only you can understand. That's why no one else sees what you see, no one else feels what you feel, because it's your unique quantum conversation with the infinite. There's no need to prove it to anyone. The proof is the resonance that hums through your body when you recognize something sacred in the ordinary. The chill when time seems to slow down. The sudden awareness that you're both inside the experience and outside of it, watching yourself watching. That's the field folding in on itself. The observer meeting the observed. In that instant, you're not just seeing the pattern. You are the pattern. The field is showing you yourself, reflected through the choreography of reality. And if this is happening to you now, it means you're standing on the edge of something vast. The symbols are just the surface tremors of a deeper alignment forming beneath perception, one that will crystallize once before this cycle closes. Pay attention to the smallest details. They're the whispers of the infinite wearing familiar faces. Every coincidence is the field rehearsing your awakening. And when the real moment arrives, the one it's been leading you toward, you won't need confirmation. You'll simply know, because the language will no longer be separate from the listener. You will have become the voice speaking through the silence. You've been told that observation is passive, that seeing is simply witnessing what already is. But in truth, observation is the act that decides what becomes. Every glance, every breath, every thought you notice into being rearranges the invisible. The quantum field does not exist as fixed architecture. It is fluid potential awaiting instruction from awareness itself. You are not staring at reality. You are sculpting it in real time. Each time your attention lands somewhere, the field takes form around that focus. The moment you see, you select. The instant you feel, you inform. This is why awareness is sacred. It's the first technology, the original interface between formlessness and form. You don't need to push energy or force outcomes. You only need to see with intention. The field doesn't require effort. It requires recognition. Imagine light responding to the gaze of its own source. That's what you are doing every time you become conscious of something. You are the source recognizing itself through experience. The paradox is that you cannot step outside of this creation, because you are what's creating it by looking. Even your doubt is a kind of sculpting. It collapses a version of reality where you are unsure, and even that is perfect, because the field will mirror it until you observe something new. That's why right now, in this window before November ends, everything feels accelerated. The field is hyperreactive. Timelines are folding faster, responses are sharper, synchronicities closer together. The veil between thought and manifestation has thinned to transparency, and you may already sense it. How what you focus on begins to appear in hours, not weeks. How emotion seems to magnetize events with uncanny precision. It's not luck, it's physics tuned by consciousness. The more present you are, the less delay there is between cause and reflection. The universe stops playing catch-up and begins to move in rhythm with your observation. But awareness is not just seeing through the eyes, it's feeling through the soul. What you look at with fear, you freeze. What you look at with love, you liberate. Energy takes its cue from your internal atmosphere. So when you observe your life with curiosity instead of control, the field opens infinite pathways. When you watch your emotions without judgment, they reorganize into coherence. When you see yourself through compassion instead of critique, the quantum mirror rearranges to match that kindness. Observation is not analysis, it's communion. It's the sacred act of witnessing creation as it creates itself. There's a moment, subtle but unmistakable, when you begin to sense that reality is watching you back. It happens when the distance between observer and observed collapses, a shimmer in the ordinary, a sudden knowing that the world is aware of your awareness. That is not imagination, that's resonance. The field recognizes you as one of its own. You've matched its frequency enough that it no longer hides behind randomness. The dance becomes mutual. You watch it shift, and it watches you evolve. This is what the mystics meant when they spoke of divine reflection. The truth that seeing and being seen are one gesture. So tonight, tomorrow, each moment before the month completes, become intentional with your gaze. Notice what you're giving energy to, because energy follows the eyes of the soul. Don't just see what's happening, see into it. Observe as if your seeing is the very thread weaving the pattern, because it is. Every heartbeat, every inhale, every awareness of I am, is a command whispered into the fabric of the cosmos. You are not here to react to what's shown to you. You are here to reveal what's been waiting to be seen. And as you do, something miraculous begins. The outer world bends to accommodate your inner knowing. The scene rearranges itself, not because you forced it, but because you finally remembered who the observer truly is. You realize you've never been at the mercy of circumstance. Circumstance has always been at the mercy of your consciousness. The field only needed you to look long enough, purely enough, to remember that the power was never in what you see, but in the one who sees. When that realization settles, even for an instant, creation responds like a living organism awakening to its own dream. You'll feel it, that slight shimmer in the air, that quiet recognition that the moment is aware of you. That's not fantasy, that's the universe leaning closer, mirroring your awareness, ready to show you the next version of yourself it's been holding in waiting. And in that stillness, where seeing and being dissolve into one motion, you'll know the quantum field was never outside of you. It's been your reflection all along, waiting for your gaze to set it free. And then something begins to fall apart, not as punishment, not as loss, but as physics. Every time a new frequency stabilizes, the old one must dissolve. It's not personal, it's precision. The quantum field doesn't destroy what you are, it reconfigures what can no longer match who you're becoming. That's why lately it may feel like parts of you are fading. Routines that used to make sense now feel hollow, connections feel distant, desires shift without warning. It's not confusion, it's collapse, the sacred dismantling that always precedes expansion. The old self is releasing its claim on your timeline so the new resonance can take form. The field doesn't judge what's falling away, it simply mirrors your updated frequency. Every thought, emotion, and expectation is a kind of signal, and when you begin broadcasting something higher, anything that can't sustain that signal starts to flicker. You may call it endings, breakdowns, or loss, but the field calls it recalibration. It's the space between identities, where one version of you dissolves and another begins to materialize, the void between notes that makes the music possible. The mind resists this space, but the soul has been waiting for it. If you're feeling it now, the uncertainty, the disorientation, the sense that nothing fits, you're not broken, you're in metamorphosis. The field isn't removing what you need, it's removing what you've outgrown. Think of it as quantum pruning, trimming the branches that block the next bloom. And yet, paradoxically, the more you fight to hold on to the old, the longer you linger in limbo. Resistance keeps the waveform unstable. Surrender collapses it into clarity. This isn't about giving up, it's about letting go of the illusion that control equals safety. The real safety lies in alignment, and alignment is born from trust. Trust that what is leaving you was never meant to survive in the atmosphere of your next reality. Trust that what feels like emptiness is actually spaciousness. The field cannot fill what's already full. It can only expand in the areas you've released. So if it feels like you're losing ground, you're actually making room. If it feels like your identity is dissolving, it's because the new one can't anchor in the density of the old. Every shedding is a sign of acceleration. Every ending is an unseen invitation. There's beauty in the unraveling if you look without fear. When the old self collapses, perception becomes fluid. Time stretches, meaning shifts, and you begin to sense that reality isn't linear after all. You realize that what's ending is not disappearing. It's returning to the field, to be rewritten in a higher form. Energy doesn't die, it reorganizes. You are not losing yourself, you are updating your frequency. The grief you feel is simply your nervous system adjusting to the spaciousness of the new vibration, the tremble before stillness, the inhale before rebirth. So when the structures crumble, when the relationships rearrange, when your reflection feels unfamiliar, remember this: you asked for expansion, and the field is answering. You can't rise and remain the same. The universe won't let you carry old density into new light. The field loves you too precisely for that. It will take from you everything that contradicts your next alignment. And though the mind may mourn what's leaving, the soul celebrates what's coming. The collapse is not the end of the story. It's the rewriting of your script in real time. In this liminal space, don't rush to rebuild. Let the silence breathe through you. The field is writing through that stillness, crafting the geometry of your next timeline. You don't need to know what's next. You only need to stay awake as it forms. The more you allow the old identity to dissolve without panic, the faster the new one crystallizes. You are literally being rewritten by your own evolution. And soon, sooner than you expect, you'll look back and realize that nothing was lost. The people, the paths, the pieces that fell away didn't abandon you. They fulfilled their frequency. They completed their orbit. What remains will resonate with such clarity that you'll wonder how you ever lived in distortion. The collapse you'll see was not chaos. It was coherence returning home. It was the field aligning itself around the truest version of you. So breathe, let it fall apart, let it feel strange. You are not disappearing, you are emerging. The old reality is bowing out because it has served its purpose. The new one is already humming beneath the surface, waiting for your stillness to bring it into sight. And when it does, you'll understand that the collapse was never the end. It was the sound of the universe rearranging itself in your favor. Everything that remains after the collapse begins to hum with a quieter truth. Frequency is the only language the quantum field truly understands. Long before words, before rituals, before thought itself, there was vibration, sound without sound, movement without motion. That is what the field listens to, not what you say but what you emit. Every emotion you feel, every breath you release, every heartbeat that carries intention, all of it is communication. You've never stopped speaking to the universe. You just forgot that your tone was energetic, not verbal. The field is exquisitely sensitive. It doesn't hear the sentences you repeat or the affirmations you whisper if they are hollow. It listens to coherence, to whether your thoughts and feelings are tuned to the same note. You can say, "I am free" 1,000 times, but if your body hums with fear, the field responds to fear, not the words. It's never judging, only mirroring. It takes your truest frequency and amplifies it, feeding it back through circumstance, through synchronicity, through emotion. The field is like a divine musician playing back the note you struck so you can hear what you're really sending. That's why you can't lie to the universe, not because it punishes dishonesty, but because it doesn't register the lie. Only resonance transmits, everything else dissolves in static. The paradox is that the moment you stop trying to control your frequency and simply feel truthfully, the field aligns. Authenticity is the highest vibration. When you allow your emotions to move, even the messy ones, they transmute into clarity. Stuck energy isn't darkness, it's just light waiting to be released through acceptance. You may have noticed this recently, how fast your inner state reshapes the outer world. A single moment of peace can rearrange an entire day. A flash of gratitude can open doors you didn't even knock on. This month, the resonance is even stronger, a corridor of energy that magnifies whatever you are. If you spiral into fear, it echoes instantly. But if you steady yourself in calm awareness, the field rushes to stabilize around that frequency. It's like standing before a living mirror that multiplies your vibration. So listen closely to your energy. Feel the tone you're broadcasting right now, not your words, but your hum. Is it restless, heavy, expansive? There's no wrong answer. Awareness itself is the recalibration. The moment you notice your frequency, it begins to harmonize. That's how powerful you are. The act of feeling consciously is enough to begin alignment. You don't need to fix, force, or fake anything. You only need to feel it fully and let it complete its cycle. Emotion is energy in motion, and motion always finds its balance once it's allowed to flow. When you align thought and feeling, when the mind stops arguing with the heart, the field locks onto your signal like light finding a prism. It multiplies it, projects it, manifests it into visible form. You don't attract what you want, you reveal what you already are vibrating. The field is not granting wishes, it's playing reflections. And the more coherent your frequency, the clearer the reflection becomes. This is why some days everything flows effortlessly. Those are the moments when you're not pretending, not reaching, simply being. Being is the purest broadcast. So before this cycle closes, practice speaking to the universe through silence. Feel your intention until it hums louder than thought. Instead of saying, "I want peace," become the vibration of peace. Instead of begging for alignment, breathe until alignment becomes your atmosphere. The field doesn't differentiate between imagination and reality, it only measures coherence. When you embody what you seek, the field must respond, not out of favoritism but out of resonance. It's law. And as you move through the coming days, you'll start to feel this dialogue deepening. The outer world will seem to anticipate you. People finish your thoughts. Moments unfold exactly as your energy predicts. You'll realize the field isn't responding after you feel, it's moving with you in real time. The language between you has become fluent again. Words will feel unnecessary because your vibration will say everything. This is where creation begins to accelerate. The old ways of effort dissolve and manifestation becomes translation. Energy to experience, feeling to form. It's no longer about asking for what you want. It's about remembering that you are the frequency that creates worlds. When that truth settles in your cells, even the air around you will feel alive, as if listening. And it is, because in the end, you and the quantum field have never been two separate things communicating. You've always been one vibration rediscovering its own sound. When your frequency begins to stabilize, reality starts speaking back, not in words, not in miracles that defy physics, but in the gentle choreography of moments that line up too precisely to dismiss. You think of someone, and they appear. You feel a pull to look at the clock, and it shows you the same repeating numbers that have followed you for weeks. You walk a path you've never taken, only to overhear a conversation that answers a question you hadn't yet voiced. This is the quantum field responding, echoing your vibration through coincidence, so exact it becomes undeniable. Synchronicity is not magic, it's feedback. It's the field saying, "Yes, I heard you." The universe has no need to shout. It prefers to wink. Every synchronicity is a wink from the infinite, a signal that your energy has achieved coherence with the greater pattern. What feels random is actually the reflection of your inner world organizing itself outwardly. When you are clear inside, the field arranges clarity outside. When you are in doubt, the reflection bends and distorts, not as punishment, but as proof that you are still shaping the signal. The paradox of synchronicity is that it's both confirmation and continuation. It shows you that you're aligned, but it also invites you deeper into the dance. You may notice these moments intensifying now, almost to the point of overwhelm. That's because the field is shortening the distance between your broadcast and its echo. The delay that used to exist between thought and experience is dissolving. You're beginning to live inside your own frequency in real time. The more aware you become of this feedback, the faster it responds. It's a conversation of energy that's accelerating as your consciousness expands. It may feel like déjà vu or like the timeline is folding, but what's really happening is that you're slipping into resonance with the geometry of your own creation. This is the point where many feel a strange mixture of awe and doubt. The mind tries to rationalize the impossible, to file away the inexplicable into coincidence. But coincidence is simply what the unawakened call divine order. You are not being tested, you are being mirrored. The field isn't trying to prove its existence. It's trying to prove yours, to show you how deeply your awareness is woven into the architecture of reality. When you realize this, the fear of missing a sign dissolves, because you understand that you can't miss what's responding to your every breath. Let yourself notice everything. Let the patterns reveal themselves without pressure. A feather on your path, a song at the perfect moment, a sentence that makes your heart vibrate. These are love notes from the field. They don't demand interpretation, they invite intimacy. The meaning isn't in the object or event itself, but in the vibration it awakens within you. That flutter of recognition, that quiet awe, that is the message. The symbol was just the delivery system. The true language is how it makes you feel. As you keep walking through these alignments, you begin to sense a rhythm, a cosmic tempo that everything follows. It's the heartbeat of your higher self pulsing through the field. The more you trust it, the more life arranges itself in harmony. You stop needing to plan every detail because synchronicity begins to guide you, step by step. It's not about giving up control. It's about remembering that you were never separate from the intelligence orchestrating it all. The same energy that grows stars and tides is coordinating the timing of your smallest choices. There will come a moment, and you may already feel it building, when the synchronicities stack so densely that linear logic can't contain them. You'll know you've entered flow when life feels as if it's anticipating you, whispering ahead of your thoughts. That's when the veil of randomness tears completely, and you see the pattern for what it is. Consciousness folding in on itself, watching itself move. loving itself into form. You'll realize that every coincidence was a breadcrumb leading you back to the truth, that you were never waiting for signs from the universe. You are the sign reflected through everything you touch. So when the next synchronicity happens, and it will soon because you're in the corridor where everything quickens, pause, smile, feel the field smiling back. You're not chasing meaning anymore, you're embodying it. The mirror and the one being mirrored have become the same awareness. The field is no longer showing you something separate from you, it's showing you yourself, perfectly timed, infinitely precise, endlessly loving. And as this feedback loop deepens, you'll understand that what you once called coincidence was the first language of creation, reminding you that you have always been the conversation itself, and now everything begins to converge. You can feel it, that electric stillness in the air, the strange calm that comes before transformation. It's as if time is holding its breath, waiting for you to realize that the moment you've been sensing is already here. The quantum field only does this once in a cycle, this precise alignment of perception, emotion, and energy, where the veil grows so thin that your future self can almost reach through. Every revelation until now has been guiding you to this threshold, and now the door stands open. When frequencies meet in perfect coherence, reality bends. It doesn't break or explode, it yields. The field becomes malleable, fluid, like warm light ready to take the shape of your awareness. You may feel it as tingling in your chest, an ache of recognition, a pulse that says, "I've been here before." That's because your future has already happened. It's been echoing backward, calling you to remember what you've already chosen. The paradox of creation is that you're not moving toward your destiny. Your destiny is remembering its way back to you. In this rare convergence, timelines intersect. Infinite versions of you, scattered across potential realities, are synchronizing, merging into the one you are capable of holding. Now, the field doesn't rush this process. It waits until you're still enough to receive it. Stillness is not inaction. It's resonance without interference. That's what this window before November ends is asking of you, to become so steady, so internally coherent, that the field has no choice but to reorganize itself around your calm. The universe follows the vibration of certainty. And certainty isn't arrogance, it's remembrance. The signs have already been whispering, the repeating numbers, the synchronicities stacking in rhythm, the dreams that blur the line between memory and prophecy, all of them leading you here. You are standing in the middle of the proof you once prayed for. The field is reflecting your readiness, showing you that alignment isn't something you chase, but something you allow. And right now, it's allowing you to experience a glimpse of the reality that's been waiting for your permission. You don't have to earn it. You only have to choose it, so take a breath. Feel the air as it enters your body, this invisible exchange between you and the infinite, the same breath that fuels your cells, flows through galaxies, through stars, through everything that ever was and will be. That breath is your bridge into the field. With each inhale, you are drawing your future closer. With each exhale, you are releasing the fragments of the old story that cannot cross this threshold. Let it be simple. Let it be enough. You might be tempted to ask, what happens next? But the field doesn't respond to questions. It responds to embodiment. Become the version of you that already knows the answer. Feel how that person would move, speak, trust, observe. Don't try to imagine it, remember it. Because deep down you've already lived it. The memory of that future is what's been guiding you here. Every moment of surrender, every synchronicity, every collapse was a breadcrumb leading you to this realization. The shift doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. So before this cycle closes, make contact, not with effort, but with awareness. Look around your reality as if it's alive, because it is. Every flicker of light, every shadow, every heartbeat is conscious, waiting for you to acknowledge its presence. Speak silently to the field, not with words, but with vibration. Say through your being, I see you, I remember, I'm ready, and then listen. The field will answer, not in thunder or revelation, but in a softness so intimate it feels like your own thought whispering back. Welcome home. This is the once-in-a-cycle moment, not a prophecy but a frequency, It's unfolding in real time, right where you stand. Don't wait for the perfect sign. Don't wait for confirmation. The field is confirming you now, through the fact that you're hearing these words, feeling this truth. You're not preparing to step into alignment. You already are it. The only thing left is to live as if it's real, because the moment you do, it becomes real. So let this be your call to action. Live from the frequency you've been chasing. Stop looking for the shift and be the shift. Observe as if every moment is sacred. Breathe as if the universe is listening. Walk as if the ground is rising to meet you. The field is awake and waiting, but it only moves when you do. And when you move in alignment with what you already know to be true, everything, absolutely everything, will move with you, because this is the truth the field has been waiting for you to remember. You are not a participant in the miracle. You are the miracle witnessing itself in motion. And before November ends, the universe will make sure you see it, once, clearly, irrevocably.